Thank you for joining us. This is Rainier Avenue Radio World. My name is James Lee. I'm with Front and Centered. For our virtual audience, we are now live, but just to let you know, our program is officially going to start at 5:30. So thanks so much for your patience. As you know, when you're gathering community together, when you're gathering families and kids together, no one, that doesn't always start on time. We got to have folks come in as they come in. So we've built in time for that. We are waiting till 5:30 to start our official program, but we can't wait for you to join us at 5:30 for our Youth Radio Takeover. We are going to pass the mic to young people here at the Columbia City Theater so that they can tell us about what their thoughts are on climate change, what they want to know about environmental justice and climate justice, and we're going to hear directly from them. So again, thank you so much for your patience. We'll be back at 5:30 with our Youth Radio Takeover as part of Earth Deserves More Than a Day. Earth Deserves More Than a Day is a week-long program brought to you by Front and Centered in partnership with Rainier Avenue Radio, the Social Justice Film Festival, and MOHI, and we're so excited to be joining you all on day 3 of Earth Deserves More Than a Day.
I'm Paul Pearson, host of Star Time, and when I'm not hearing men compare women to residential real estate, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Ow, he's a brick. Ow.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
What's going on, world? It's your boy OG Mambo.
And your guy D Money. Join us along with Pint Size Patron and ID Yourself
Here on Fresh Juice at Rainier Avenue Radio.
every Wednesday hump day from 9 to 11 Pacific.
Get exclusive interviews from your favorite artists, all the hottest music, and updates on what we got going on in the world.
That's every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio.
This is Brenda Charles Edwards, host of Seniors Matter. Join me every week to get information on activities and issues that impact the lives of older adults and their families. That's Seniors Matter every week on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Did you know that there's an updated COVID-19 booster that protects you even more than the original vaccines? Even if you got the first vaccinations, now it's time to get this new updated booster shot. It's especially important for adults 50 and over and people with a compromised immune system. Even though you may not hear about people catching COVID as often, each week in King County, some people even end up in the hospital because of it. So check with your loved ones and make sure they've gotten an updated booster. For more information on where to get a COVID vaccine, including free vaccination resources, visit kingcounty.gov/vaccines. kingcounty.gov/vaccines.
This is Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
welcome. We are starting off the evening. It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and we are with youth. Tonight is our third day of our Earth Deserves More Than a Day series. And tonight is not about adults. It's not about anything but the youth that are in our communities across Washington State. We have a lot of great people here today. We have an amazing host. I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping here. Remember, if you are an adult, this is not your time. This is all about youth. So you have to be, if you are in this space, you have to be asked to speak, right? We have an amazing host. Amelie Valdez is here today, and Amelie is our amazing host for the night. She will take you along this wonderful trip of conversation and sharing, and we ask that all of you participate. If you don't want to participate and you just want to listen, that's okay. This is your night. This is your show, and we will have a couple of breaks. We'll be, breathe it out, talk as long as you want. Amelie will take it over. My name is Rebecca Rosado with Front and Center. And thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Amelie Valdez.
Thank you, Rebecca. Hello, everyone. Amelie Valdez. I use she, her pronouns. And first, I come with Feast today. Feast is an organization. Feast, amazing. Feast is an organization, youth-led as well. We love youth. And we help youth. We train them to be able to work and make social change, to be able to change what they want in society and reach that hope, that dream that we all must have about certain, our schools, which is what we focus on. Right now, we have a mental health campaign. We are focusing in various schools in Seattle. And it's really important to us, mental health. We've seen a lot about it. It's really important for us. And here we're going to talk today about environmental justice, which let me tell you, it definitely relates one to the other. I want to share a little bit before. I believe that mental health has to be good in order for us to do for others. So we're looking for environmental justice. We want to make a change in our society because we can see many issues. But in order to be able to make that change, to be that person, we need to be okay first. So that's why we believe mental health is important. So you know a little bit about me, and I want to know some about all of you guys. So I would love it if you guys shared your name, pronouns, and we have two questions. One of them is, what is something that inspires you? Now this is a question you might hear a lot, inspires me. Okay, but I want you to really think about it. I want you to think about maybe something that inspired you today, last week, or overall in your life. You have this one person, one thing, one motivation, inspiring that keeps you going. And I feel like if you feel, take it deeper as you want, we want to hear it all. If you want to be like the sun, I actually was just talking about this today. The sun inspires me. I love it. The sun, the plants, and that is amazing, and that is valid. We also, aside from what inspires you, we want to hear it all. We also want to hear a little bit of what you want to walk away today with. When you walk out that door after having an amazing time here today, what do you want to have in your mind about environmental justice, about youth, about anything? Okay, there's a space for us to talk, to conversate, to hear each other, and I want to open up that space. So when you walk out today, what do you want to have in your mind? Does anyone want to introduce themselves first? Yes, the microphone will come to you, and then just talk on the microphone. Anyone? Any break? There you go. Yeah! Yeah! Sorry. No worries. Let's do it without microphone.
Hi, my name is Emily. I also came to the feast today. My pronouns are she, her. Something that inspires me is the art around me, like movies, books, visual art, skills, all that. What was the second question?
What do you want to walk away with in your mind today?
Something I want to walk away with is feeling inspired and connected.
1, 2. Here we go.
Thank you so much, Emily. That is beautiful. I think art can be also very inspiring, and that is something that we will definitely talk about today, inspiration and healing in our community.
Hello, my name is Kai. I go by they, them pronouns, and something that inspires me is empathy and others' feelings and how you can make another feel by your actions or the change you make in the community or bringing the community together. What's the second question?
What do you want to walk away with today?
I would like to walk away with knowledge. I would like to walk away with maybe a new understanding or maybe a new perspective of something that I didn't know about or something I wasn't very clear about.
Thank you. I'm hearing a lot about community. I love this. Thank you. Any other youth want to please? We're all going to get introduced. We all want to know who we are because we're all going to talk a little today. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Patricia. Use they and her pronouns. Member of Kabatan Alliance. Woo, yeah. Yeah, what inspires me? I was just at a Rainier Beach High School Filipino club. I was an advisor there too. So what inspires me is the youth. So we were just talking about how, so they were just in an interview too. So they were just talking about how they wanted to really do something to save the Filipino-US American history class. And so that's really inspiring. You know, I wasn't like that when I was a freshman. And so to see them really wanting to do something, it's just really inspiring. What's the next question?
What do you want to walk away with?
Oh, yes. What do I want to walk away? Yeah, just wanted to learn more from the youth as well. Yeah, just wanted to learn more from y'all. Also wanted to share more on the work that we do as Kabatan Alliance. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, y'all. Oh, sorry, my mask. I am Linda. I also go by Lynn, she, her, hers pronouns. I am here with Anak Bayan, South Seattle. We are a youth and student organization that fights for issues that are affecting the local Filipino community and connecting it to issues that are also happening in the Philippines. So I think what it really also inspires me is just like, you know, seeing youth really stand up for things that they see as wrong and really fighting, you know, for an alternative. I see, you know, especially I think what Patricia said about, you know, seeing how the US Filipinx curriculum getting cut from the school district. I've seen a lot of like youth fight about that, and it was really inspiring to kind of like see a lot of, you know, youth, Filipino youth, and even like allies kind of like come together and really like stand up and say, no, this is wrong. And yeah, and then I think what I really want to walk away with, I think similar to Patricia, is that I want to learn lessons from y'all and like just hear about how y'all have been addressing like local issues and what also you see in your communities. Yeah.
Thank you. Please do not be shy.
Who wants to go next? By the way, my name is Isabel. So you can
thank you, Isabel.
Yes, introduce yourself. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jude. I work for Feast. I'm a youth organizer, and I work in Highline and Evergreen, or in the Highline School District, and I work in Evergreen and Tyee. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I just feel really glad that I was able to come today. I think one thing that inspires me, I think, is also young people, and I think also nature. I really love nature. I love, like, I used to be a farmer, so I think like being outside is really sweet and generative to me. And I'm gonna try to remember the question. What do I want to walk away with?
Good job.
Thank you. I think I just want to listen and be present to what's happening here.
Okay.
And
thank you.
also shout out to the MC tonight. Yes, you're doing great.
Thank you, Jude. Can anyone else introduce themselves?
I will follow Jude's lead. My name is Belina. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm with Feast. And something that inspires me is like what's happening right now, being in person, being in community, eating together, having conversations. There's so many people that I'm like, dang, I wish they knew this was happening, because we have so many amazing young people who are organizing in the South End. So yeah, this feels like the beginning of a really cool thing that we can sustain. And then one thing I want to walk away from today is just connections with anybody. We've already had some really great conversations, so I feel like I've gotten more than what I thought I was getting. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to go?
Hello, my name is Coda. I use he/him pronouns, and I'm part of the Black Student Union. The one thing that inspires me is the people around me. I love seeing a whole bunch of different variety and people that walk on this planet, and I like talking to them and seeing what their beliefs and their views are. The one thing I would like to walk away with is a better understanding of what is currently happening in the world, and that's really it. So.
Yeah.
My name's Akila. I go by whatever you want to call me, as long as you have no mean intent. I'm with Kiss at BSU, and what inspired me is my mom, and what I want to take away from this is knowledge.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. So right now I want to check in. Are we doing a video?
We have a video on environmental justice.
Okay.
We can play it on that screen right there.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We may need to uncover the screen. Or we can leave it on. Guess what's behind it. Thank you. I also want to remind you guys to please ask questions. This is not going to be me up here giving a lecture. We don't like that. I am a youth and I'm talking. I also want to hear voices from all the youth in the audience today. I want a conversation, and if you have any questions, please ask. I promise you, I will also have questions to you or to any other support people in the room. So please don't be scared to. And also I wanted to add, before we get further into the event, in the back, there are posters. If you are a person that does not want to talk or just likes to doodle or just likes to put their words into drawing, into writing, please go ahead. There are crayons on your table and there are posters on the desk at the back. So please reach out for that if you want it. Thank you.
Raise your hand, I can bring you the poster.
We can also do that. Yes, I can do that.
I'm Paul Pearson, host of Star Time, and when I'm not deep frying a turducken in a closed garage, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Are you nerdy by nature? The Crosscut Ideas Festival is back with captivating conversations to quench your curiosity. Explore issues in science, health, culture, and politics with thought leaders and innovators like Ibram X. Kendi, Audie Cornish, Eric Holder, John Quillen Hill, Andrew Yang, and more. April 29th to May 6th at the Amazon Meeting Center in downtown Seattle. It's the Crosscut Ideas Festival, where curiosity and discovery connect. Get your tickets at crosscut.com/festival.
Join Rainier Avenue Radio from 5 to midnight for Sunday evening sound sessions. Jazz from the cabinets, from Big Papa.
That's right. It's
It's time once again for Jazz from the Campus with Big Poppy.
Sergio LaCour's Love Lines.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Go to the phone line. Tell her who we talking to.
Sage Prince, Just My Opinion.
This is Sage, and that's just about going to do it for the first half of Just My Opinion.
K-Fox Nightbeat with Nasty Ness Rodriguez.
The beat of the Fox. K-Fox Nightbeat, Nasty Ness.
You know what? You're going to listen from 5 to midnight. Just turn it on and don't stop. DJ Alibaba. The Underground Surround Sound Star Time with Paul
Thanks
Pearson.
for tuning in. My name is Paul Pearson.
Sunday evening
This is
sound
Star Time.
sessions on Rainier Avenue Radio. Trust me, you'll be listening the entire time from 5 to midnight. Sunday evening, your sound session on Rainier Avenue Radio.
COVID-19 hurt my income, my health, and my family. We were about to lose our home when we heard we might be eligible for homeowner assistance funds from the government. We called 1-877-894-HOME and a housing counselor stepped in, they talked to our lender, and saved our home. Because falling on hard times does not have to mean losing your home. Federal funding details at washingtonhaf.org.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world is your 24/7 digital media hub. Tune in at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and TuneIn apps.
This kind of inequity expands far beyond cities, too. Rural areas are full of commercially valuable resources like oil, coal, and they're also home to indigenous and low-income communities. But when those resources are extracted, those communities don't see any of the money, and they end up with all the air and water contamination that's left over from the extraction. And we even see this injustice on a global level, like in small island nations that are forced to directly confront the consequences of rising sea levels that haven't played any significant role in the industries that are causing climate change. These peoples are sometimes forced to flee their homes because their land is literally going underwater. But the very states that did play a hand in creating climate change don't have migration policies to accommodate them. So when we talk about environmental justice, we're talking about how we can try to break down and reimagine the system that's built up on these inequities. A system where those who are already disadvantaged because of their race and economic status are made poor because they're unable to profit from the resources that the world depends on and are made sick or worse by the environmental contamination that comes with extracting those resources. Social inequities are intimately tied to the environment. That's why social justice is an environmental issue too.
First time using a mic, guys. Anyways, back again. I know I heard some stuff. We want to walk away with this knowledge, and I know I got some knowledge from that. I'm gonna sit. We're gonna conversate now. By the way, warning. So, I want to hear what you guys think. And when you saw that, you thought something, and I want to hear it. We all want to hear it. We want to share this, and I will share first. So, this thing about cities having different parts divided by race, wealth, or language. Now I moved schools to more north, and when I see the communities there, I see so much nicer. And then I go home and I see how the city doesn't really care for this area, and it is so sad. And then you relate that to schools, since we're youth, schools, and we see how this also reflects in schools, how the city does not care about how to, better education in these areas in the same city, which is crazy. So that's what made me think about it too. This also drove me back to the idea that, mental health related to where you are. If you're in an area where, the system does not support you, does not help you, you're not gonna do great. I mean, you'll do fine if you're resilient. Love that. Resistance, important, vital part of everything that's happened, but it should not have to be that way. And this really made me think about that. So if anybody else, please, wants to share thoughts with like an image, a word. This made me think about 3rd grade. My teacher told me this. I want to hear it. We want to hear it. We want to open a space to hear it all and share, please. And thank you. Microphone will once again be passing around. You want to say it. You do. You really want to say it. I know you do. I know you do.
I'll go ahead and say I feel like people when you ask them about social justice, they ask you what are some racial discriminations that are just out, and you can see that in how gentrified cities, they're getting more repairs in their roads, better access to healthcare, and you really see how our city kind of rates our importance on who and what area they're in. And I think that just is an example of the injustice of how, because of maybe the financial state of your area, how things are going to be different and how your area is going to be treated.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely bringing up health is important. As we saw in the video, like the death rates are also higher in these places where healthcare is not good. And it is crazy. Have you guys seen the statistics? If you haven't, they're bad. It's insane. It's so hard to comprehend and should not be like that. And gentrification. I was actually just talking about this eminent domain, which gives like the government the right to kick you out of your house to like make the place economically like developed, which is also crazy because wiping out a neighborhood because we need a Walmart, or wiping out a neighborhood because we need like this new company. It's crazy, and it all goes back to capitalism. Sorry. But it does, and this made me think about that, the control there is over communities and not supporting the people in the communities, but just trying to gain from them, which is really sad. Anybody else want to add?
My thought was really simple. I just thought about my friend. She used to go to my school not my school, Cleveland last year. No, not last year, 2 years ago. And then last year, she moved up to Bellevue and she goes to Northgate, I think, high school, something like that. And her club, there's a fencing club and a rocket shooting club. Rocket science, something like that club.
Okay.
And I was jealous. I was like, wow, that's such a cool club. And then my club's here, they're all right. So I just thought about clubs. But I think if our schools had more funding, like the schools up in North or like the richer neighborhood schools, it will help students explore their passion more because, what if I like fencing? What if I want to be an Olympic fencer, Yeah, so that's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've definitely also seen that at schools. With my new school, I see many like programs to help students get into college. And then I just found out so many new things that I had no idea about when I went to a school that was close to my house. So now I have to go to school, have the resources that should be just told to me, but it's the same district, but no, because it's a better neighborhood. And so they put more effort into helping the students there, which is crazy. Anybody else want to share something? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I gotta agree with y'all on the funding issues, especially when it comes to the arts in schools, music and all that. Especially for me, since I'm a musician, and I would like a lot more opportunities, in classes and all that. But because of budget constraints and all that, there aren't that many. So I got to make do with what I have.
Yes. Yeah, that's resisting. This is resisting the system that a lot of times does not aid us. And it's good, like you're putting examples as a musician, you gotta keep moving forward. And I love that, even if there aren't, the resources there to help you in this growth and this development.
Yeah, this makes me think about like how even like, last year there were like a lot of like strikes happening like right before school started within the Seattle Public School District. And it really just showed how, like, yeah, I've heard stories about like how at like Franklin, Cleveland, Rainier Beach, a lot of like the resources that, we see up in like, well-funded schools that are like up north are not, prioritized for like South End schools here, right? And so yeah, that made me think about, that yeah, basically what happened last year. And like despite the fact that, like during this like after the strikes happened, there was like talks about how they reached an agreement, but we're still seeing the same problems, like the South End schools are still not getting like adequate mental health resources, their schools or their classrooms are still not getting like adequate, heating. Things are still breaking down. Students don't even have supplies. So yeah, you still see like the same problems. And a lot of it is like, points to, yeah, the budget cuts that are being made that are still ongoing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. We've all seen this, lived this, and it's very good to bring up and see how it's affecting our community. And it's not just affected, it is currently happening. Every single day we find out news and it's affect us at the end of the day, a lot of us. Anybody else want to add to the conversation, to the video, to your mind, anything? Thank you.
This kind of out of the discussion that we're already having, but just like seeing that video made me think of the Philippines back home too. Typhoons are ongoing back home. And so we see infrastructures that are being built that are affecting the resources that we have, cutting down trees, cutting down, like really using the land as a business, as a form of business, rather than for people to use. And so that really puts the Filipino people in pain, losing their lands, losing their families, losing their homes. And so, and it's, yeah, it just brings me back home and just really feel for them. And also goes back to what inspires me to, it's the youth that are doing something for that problem, but also like remembering that there's Filipinos back home that are suffering because of the climate crises that we have right now.
Yeah. In the video, I talked a little bit about the US, but then I added some stuff that this is worldwide. This isn't, in my country, I was, this country, I go to school here, problem here. It's all over the world, and it's our world, and we are hurting it. We as people, as humans, are hurting it, but there's also, like you said, youth, which people, but it's very essential to have people that stand up for that will go against that will use their voice, because it makes a change, and it really does. And it's really hard to see everything going on and, not having able to do it. But you can make a change. And I feel like it took me some time to be like, I can do something. I don't like this, I can do something about it. It took me a minute to understand that. But I feel like after you understand that, you kind of open your eyes and you're like, oh my God, there's a lot that's not right. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, we can move on into some questions. Now, if you want to have a little guidance on what you're going to say, I have them right here. So the first one's going to be, we're kind of already moved into that, but like more explicitly to like keep your mind going, what examples of like climate change have you guys seen? Have you guys seen when you step outside, when you watch TV, when you go on TikTok, when you go to school, or a teacher tells you, or like kid next to you in class tells you, whatever? Is there anything that you have seen? Yes.
Well, for the past few summers, there's been really hot heat waves.
Yes.
And a lot of houses don't have air conditioning, like mine. So I suffered. Yeah, so that's one example I experienced.
Thank you. Yeah, look outside. It's a little sunny today, but y'all, it's spring. Let me just announcement. It's supposed to be spring, and it is raining. And the rain is like taking forever. And then when summer gets here, it's also an extreme. That is climate change. That is climate change in our weather. And if you look at other countries, you will see that too, I promise you. In Seattle, we see that. In any other place, you see that. In weather itself, we have a lot of examples for this, but weather itself, yeah, it's changing. And every year, I feel like, I haven't really looked at the science behind it all, but it's hotter and it's also colder. It's just going to extremes. Thank you for bringing that up. Any other climate change ideas, observations? Yes, thank you.
It was like that really weird time for like that month where people were scared for December because something in the North Pole broke and it was just gonna pelted a blizzard after blizzard after blizzard, and we're gonna be cold. And then even after that, many months later, we're still getting like random like snowstorms, and like everything is gonna be closed down because there's so much snow and ice on the road. It made no sense. It was just so weird. It made no sense.
Yeah, thank you. Makes no sense. There's so much going on. They were like, that's not what was supposed to happen. Like, according to the history books, this is what happens on here. The blizzards are crazy. It's not supposed to happen. But it's happening, and every single time it's getting closer. It's crazy how much goes to an extreme so quickly. Yeah. Anyone else? Climate change.
Yeah. I mean, just a side note, I was also like on that note of like the heat waves. I was literally looking at the weather app earlier this morning, and it says it's going to be like 80. It's going to jump to like 80 degrees next week, which is kind of concerning. Anyway, I think one example of like climate change that I think of a lot that, you know, is a current example is like, you know, how the amount of pollution that, you know, we, you know, contribute, you know, not, you know, that we contribute to willingly, but it's because of like, you know, the system that's in place, right? Because of capitalism. Like one of the things that I also think of is like, you know, what is also a part of capitalism that includes like, you know, the military. And like currently in the Philippines, you know, there's, I don't know if folks have heard about this, but there is a current like increasing military presence within the Philippines. And, you know, we talk about pollution. The military is actually like one of the biggest like polluters in the world. And, you know, currently in the Philippines, there is, it actually started like last week. So what is called the Balikatan exercises. There was an approval by Biden of like, I think 4-5 new bases. So that allows for more of like, you know, military presence in the Philippines and, you know, allows for, you know, these exercises for like, you know, the US and the Philippine government to, you know, train up, you know, the military presence. And because of that, you know, indigenous, you know, what we call Lumad tribes are being pushed out of like their homelands, you know, and like, again, this is kind of like ongoing, and it also like, you know, affects, you know, the way in which climate change affects us, you know, here. Like in the video, it talked about, you know, migrants being pushed out of their homelands in like other countries. That's also happening in the Philippines. And then, you know, as it mentioned in the video, you know, there's no accommodations for those migrants either. So yeah, you kind of see how it's all connected. And again, you know, this is like happening on a global scale. So.
And also those bases, it's also part of that agreement that they give budget to the Philippines to increase the militarization. And so bringing it back here, they're saying that there's no budget for education, but then there's budget for exactly like, you know, yeah. So really we're seeing that there's huge state neglect in terms of like addressing the issues of climate crises in the Philippines. There's also a huge issue of state taking part of really devastating our resources globally, not just in the Philippines, but globally. And so, yeah, so going back to that conversation, climate change is is not the people's responsibility. No, not people's fault, but rather there's like a bigger system at play.
Yes, thank you. We're talking about change. We talk about it is good. It is this conversation about what's going on that is negative. It is good. It is helpful. And I did not know a lot of that. Thank you so much for sharing. I already got my piece of knowledge. But when we think about this, that's also, I would like to share, I would love to hear, at Feast, we have our vision of youth being able to advocate for what they want and making a change in society and having lifelong organizers, not just as a youth, but as an adult, as a person, be an organizer and make that change. And we advocate for that. So when looking at this change, we have to think, okay, what does a thriving community look like for me? We talk about this a lot, and we focus in school, so we doubled it down to what does thriving look like at my school? I would love it if some people from Feast would share, because we've talked about this a lot, but I can share too. I know we've talked about, we used to focus on food and a lot with food in schools, and we talked about how food should be free. Food could be culturally relevant. Pizza and a burger is not great. Not only not the healthiest either. We also talked about, farm to table ideas. But then we're focusing on mental health. We've had a lot of ideas on how to make it better. Rooms for youth to have a moment, have a space. Communication, culturally affirming therapists, and you don't have to worry about schools. That's an example of schools. But when looking at your community, I would love to hear some ideas of what a thriving community looks like. It could be anything. You can talk about the whole community from start to finish. You could talk about one aspect, what's on your mind. We would love to hear that, because I feel like it's really important to not just talk about what is wrong, but how it would look like and what we are working for to make it right. So please share. Oh, come on. I know. If y'all have something bad, you're this could be better this way. Share it. If the McDonald's over there is bad, that could be thriving. The block could be thriving if it had a better McDonald's. Say that. Please.
I know today we're talking about young people and youth, but I think something that could help to make our communities more intergenerational is having opportunities for adults, like people who are retired or people who are, in their 30s, 40s, or 50s, who have an opportunity to be students again, to be learning new hobbies, new passions, new skills. Because I think when you are a student and you're in that position of being curious and open and learning, as a parent, for example, when that bleeds into your culture within your family. So your kids are sitting next to you studying or reading about new things. So I think it would just be cool to see our elders in arts programs, our elders in DJing, make the block you know what I mean? Imagine your grandma DJing for you and your friends, that vibe. That's what I want to see in a thriving community.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. I've definitely experienced this firsthand. My parents, I would come home. I'm an immigrant, so I would come home and I'd share something with my parents, and they'd be that's crazy. Where'd you learn that? I'm at school. And it was really interesting, the conversations that we would have, because things that I learned that day and they hadn't heard of. And then they would be interested, but that barrier there would keep them from just my kid comes home and tells me something the teacher told him at school, and that's as far as it goes. And I should not be like that. We are all people. We should all be learning. And I feel that idea of learning is a very part of well, yeah, young people learn, and then you get older, then you grow up, and then you just go with all that you learned every single day that you wake up. You're learning. And I truthfully believe that, because if you say you're not, you're learning. Trust me, you're learning. But yeah, another example. This is of bringing stories to home, talking about education, how it should get better. I walked in the door. I was fourth grade maybe, and I was told at school that America is the United States. That America is not any other country. even though it's a continent. And when I walked in the door and said that, you guys would not believe how crazy it was. North America itself is Canada, and there's just Latin America, Central America. And I was like, no, like, believe me, Mom, like, America is the United States, and that's it. The rest are just, like, countries in the way. As if I wasn't from there. Like, girl. I was, like, taught this idea that, you know, I am the middle, I am America. You know, growing up and seeing that every single day, you know, I grew up, you know, I was like, oh, yeah, Mom, you're right. Like, I knew that, my bad. And I see that in schools today. I see that in schools, like a teacher, history teacher will tell you, you know, how was this in America? And I'm like, no, how was this in like half of the United States? Because the half didn't even know it. And trust me, neither did the whole continent. Like, we're all a big world living our own stuff. So yeah, I feel like education should be for all, especially because like your teacher like may say something, a teacher may say something, but it's very good to share it within a group of people, you know, see what you're learning. Get your facts straight. Anybody else, your thriving community? Thriving community, go.
Yeah, I think like just on sort of like the topic of like education, I really do think about like, you know, in a thriving community, education would be, you know, like pro people. It would be focused on, you know, actually like actual learning, you know, actual like learning skills that would help benefit our society and not actually like, you know, having us learn like some random stuff like and that's required for us to graduate, you know. And so, yeah, I think about how, you know, youth are also advocating for like, you know, ethnic studies. Those are topics that like youth really care about and want to learn. I think about how in the Philippines, you know, Luma tribes have, you know, schools that really are dedicated to keeping like their indigenous practices alive. And that is also like, you know, trying to keep the thriving society. They have like, you know, practices that, you know, teach, you know, the youth about trying to keep the environment safe, trying to like, you know, maintain their ancestral lands, but again, are also like, you know, getting pushed out by military. And then again, you know, you also see like, you know, the military trying to infiltrate, you know, high schoolers, trying to recruit them by the time they turn like, what, 16? So yeah, that's what I think of like, you know, just in terms of like just education, because it is a big part of our society, so.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. You know, when you're in school, a lot of things, since you start learning math, you're like, when will I use this? Like, when it gets hard, you're like, will I use this? Like, y equals mx plus b, like, will I? But that goes to a lot. Then we're also expected a lot in like society after, and you're not taught that. So it's very
Rainier Avenue Radio.
Did you know that there's an updated COVID-19 booster that protects you even more than the original vaccines? Even if you got the first vaccinations, now it's time to get this new updated booster shot. It's especially important for adults 50 and over and people with a compromised immune system. Even though you may not hear about people catching COVID as often, each week in King County, some people even end up in the hospital because of it. So check with your loved ones and make sure they've gotten an updated booster. For more information on where to get a COVID vaccine, including free vaccination resources, visit kingcounty.gov/vaccines. kingcounty.gov/vaccines.
What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Queen Bree, inviting you to come join me on Clean Greens Living. Broadcasted Tuesdays, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. On Clean Greens Living, we talk farming, community, and ways to being healthy. So come join me and let's discuss ways to create a healthier you and a healthier community.
Hello, listener. What's important to you about what's going on in your community? Are you interested? Are you concerned? In any case, I invite you to tune into my show, Seattle Here and Now, on Rainier Avenue Radio World. Why? I will be covering a wide range of topics important to you and impacting the community. Each show will have a special guest or guests to share with you information on a variety of subjects that are happening here and now in Seattle. I promise I will work hard to make my show informative, interesting, and entertaining. Be sure to listen to Seattle Here and Now on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities, and this is what they had to say.
Generational wealth is knowledge, whether knowing how to heal yourself from plants, knowing how to stretch your body right, and knowing what to do when you need to take time or space to get to know yourself and to grow as a person. And knowledge is something that can be passed down from your abuelitas to your mom and just to all the knowledgeable, powerful women in my lineage, at least.
This campaign to create awareness to generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood's Generational Wealth Initiative, the Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio World. Create your generational wealth for you and the future of your families.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio,
your community radio station.
When I'm talking about mental health, what is we want to learn a lot about what people's ideas of mental health is. I feel like either what the idea is, where do you feel connected to it? Do you see it here? Do you see it over there? I feel like it's really interesting to see, in this society. I also feel like the idea of mental health and how important it is slowly developing and growing. And I find that amazing because I know, with an immigrant family, I know that's not a priority. I know that mental health is feel good. You good? You good? Okay, let's go. And we don't work like that. Just letting you know, we are complex. If you didn't know, we are complex. And with being complex, you got to take care of that complexity up in there. So I feel like mental health, that's kind of my new, seeing how much it's growing, how much people I hear talking about it, how I'll walk into a class and someone will talk about it. I'm like, yeah, you are acknowledging that taking care of yourself is good. And that is a win. It is. So when thinking about mental health, share anyone, what comes to mind, the good, the bad, connections, anything.
When I think of mental health, I think of self-worth. In schools, you get grades and then you're like, oh, you get a D, you get an E, you didn't learn well, that's your fault, But then in reality, it's the education system's fault. Some people are visual learners, some people read, some people need watch a lecture or something, and then they don't adapt the education the way they teach to everyone. So then that's why some people do worse than others. It's not your fault, Teachers also say it, when quarter grades come up, everyone's stressed is high, oh no. And then the teacher's like, no, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Your quarter grade is not you. It's your semester grade. But by then, at the end of the day, still grade is just a grade. Don't care about it. But then even if you say that, the system is still there. So even if your teacher says don't care about it, the system is still there. So you still got to care about it. And then with work too, oh, gotta do good to get the bonus, whatever. I don't know much about work, but I hear my sister complain about it all the time. Yeah.
Thank you. I think mental health is important as a first generation immigrant, American immigrant. My parents are immigrants. First generation American, Mexican American. I think it's very important to break generational trauma of when our parents or our immigrant parents come over here it's a struggle and it's a trauma tactic to survive, to work hard, to push yourself to the breaking point. But I think it's our job as young adults, young people, to change that and be able to take our mental health seriously and advocate for our own mental health. So I think that's very important. Yes.
Thank you. Also, I'm a migrant too myself. I migrated here in 2017. And I still, looking back, it's like really hard. But then I found, not really found, but more so told that, oh, it's okay. You're in America. You're gonna do better. You're like in a better opportunity area. So I had this like whole idea that I would get success at some point, at some time, you know. But clearly that's not true. It's all lies that they're feeding us. But it was really hard for my mental health. It was really hard for me to get through that. Trying to relearn a new culture, a new language, and really home, like really missing home, you know, every day. And so in being part of Kabataan Alliance, I found home in the community, in the diaspora. And also learning that the issues that I faced in my mental health is not an individual fault. It's not my fault, not my parents' fault, not my family's fault. There is a bigger issue at play. We have U.S. imperialism. We have Filipino migrants, thousands of Filipino migrants leaving their families, leaving their homelands every day. And so those are the things that youth and students are not supposed to go through in isolation. We go through that in numbers. We unite. That there is a bigger issue at play. It's not something that you have to go through alone. And we do something about it, right? We do something for change. Because we wanted to see a world where no one has to leave their countries just to survive.
Yes. That was great. Thank you so much. Heard so many great ideas. If someone else wants to jump in, please feel free to. Heard a lot. It was great. I definitely feel like, being able to say this, that like people had something to share shows how much we're like getting closer to that idea of accepting the mental health. And like, it's not my fault. It's not anyone's fault. It is the issue and it's there. And, there's a way to deal with it. And I feel like that's what we need, to focus on, to like, how do we deal with this? How do we take care of ourselves and others? I feel like that's really important. And when thinking about like taking care of, like after, talking a little bit of like what mental health may matter to us, what do you do to kind of like do that? Like, go as deep as you want, that's something personal. But like your mental health, also your physical health. Like, what is there in simple? It doesn't have to be like, I work out 2 times a day and then I eat the healthiest. I don't. I don't have that discipline. Hopefully at some time I'll get that, honestly. But I don't. But I still think that I can do things that like help my mental health and physical health. Like for mental health, for example, music. Like y'all don't understand. Music is in my ear all day, and if I lose my earbuds, I can't. Like I cannot. Maybe that's dependency, but it's helping my mental health seriously. And then for like also going outside. We were talking about like environmental justice and how we can like care and all that. Growing up, Earth Day for me was planting a tree. I feel like we see that a lot, planting a tree. Trees are amazing. I love them. But Earth Day isn't just planting a tree and then like leaving it there. By the way, we didn't even water it after. Did you even see the tree after that day? Because I didn't. Like, it was Earth Day, put the tree, and then you never saw it again. I was like, where did the tree go? But like, it's a daily thing, and the whole thing. Earth Day is more than a day, I think it deserves more than a day. And when thinking about that, it doesn't mean, there's also like a lot of like guilt behind, being sustainable and all of that. And I get it. Like you said, we live in a system that doesn't really aid us in like helping our world. It's a system that's like cheaper, quicker, keep on going. Let's go. You don't have time to be like, wait, like it's not just cheaper and quicker, like there's bigger things. And it is hard. And it's not just expected to be like, well, you're actually morally like wrong and horrible because you don't do this. No, it's not like that. And when thinking about how do you appreciate Earth, I step outside and I look at the sun or the rain. We live in Seattle. We look at the rain. Yeah. The sun is like, oh yeah, the movies I see the sun, but we look at the rain and we appreciated it. Like, we might complain. Seriously. But we look at the rain and I appreciate the rain and I look how, the plants and how it grows and the worms. Love worms, by the way. So I feel like it's also bigger than just, recycle and you only use like bamboo. The bamboo's everywhere now. The toothbrush is bamboo. The hairbrush is bamboo. So it's like, it's bigger things. And I would really like to hear that. Hear how you appreciate or you actually get the bamboo. I had a bamboo toothbrush. I loved it. But it's just the things I would love to hear, just sharing it and also hearing it, like being like, oh, you do this? Oh, I like that. I'm gonna go home and try that. For mental health or for physical health, or simply to be like, let me appreciate this earth that I live in that has so many flaws, but so many amazing, wonderful things. I feel like that's really essential to appreciate what we do have and how, we go forward through this. So if anybody wants to share. What do you do to appreciate the earth or like to appreciate yourself, like mental health, physical health? Like what's something that you do to just simply kind of appreciate yourself, the earth? We're focusing the two. There's a connection.
Oh, for me, I just sit in front of my computer, go on YouTube, turn on like a music playlist, and then I just draw. Yeah.
Yes.
I personally, how I like to appreciate the earth is I like to go to the beach and meditate and thank being on the earth that helps me. Like there's food, there's air. I appreciate that there's large beautiful ecosystems in this world that are just truly amazing and beautiful. And how that helps me with my mental health is realizing that there are beautiful things all around me and being able to go enjoy them. And I think that's how I can kind of fit my mental health into enjoying nature and Mother Earth.
Yes.
How I take care of my mental health and kind of also appreciate the earth is I meditate by the trees. Speaking of trees, I feel like all these things are alive, right? Like we're all on earth growing. So I don't know, I'd be talking to the trees sometimes. I feel like the most underrated thing that I didn't understand in my first couple years of therapy was breathing, like really breathing into your belly where your vagus nerve is, I think, or something, which controls, is part of your nervous system. So like after 5 deep breaths, like I can feel my heart rate slowing down and can feel myself like coming back into the present moment. So yeah, like Kai meditation.
Yes, breathing is important, and not just for like breathing, but yeah, truly breathing. I feel like that's really important. I struggle with that, so I get that. That's the question.
Oh, what brings me joy is I like cooking. And I like cooking because instead of sitting there and being stressed, because I love to eat, and you can't eat without cooking. So I like cooking because it's just less stressful than like doing homework or worrying about something that's not really even involves you. Like you can get stressed out at the smallest things because it's an inconvenience to you. And when I cook, shut the kitchen door and pretend like nothing exists except for me and cooking.
Yeah, I relate to that. I don't cook though. I bake. Don't put me with the stove. Well, we'll make a great team in the kitchen then, because don't put me on the stove. No. But yeah, I get that. And also the idea that like sometimes, something affects you and you just need to block that out. That is caring. I feel like a lot of times for yourself, I feel like a lot of times this idea of like mental health is, well, something bad happened. Well, how do you fix it? Let's go. Breathe and take that time to like step away. It's very healthy. It's very pace yourself type of thing. I agree. And also like when things don't, like it wasn't something that directly like affects you or something, it affects you a lot emotionally. I know like I find out some news that didn't happen to me. It's not gonna like affect me tomorrow or like any of these days, but it can affect you mentally. And I feel like it's very important to take care of that. A lot of times we're like, wow, like I feel really bad because of this. It's like nothing happened to you. Like, no, but like it's valid. And I think it's very valid to like take that time to be like, wow, like this happened. Okay. It's the only way to get around it, I feel like. So yeah. Anybody else caring for yourself mentally, physically, the earth?
I don't think the way I do it is the best way, but usually when I'm going out to like do stuff with my friends or I'm going out to entertain people, I usually like to sit down and be like, yeah, what I'm going through is really rough and tough, but at least I'm still alive. And I want to spend the rest of my time being alive happy and making other people happy. So I go out and I, play my character up just a little bit, make people smile and laugh to give them that happiness that they deserve if they're not getting that within their life. And that what really strives me is to like bring smiles and joy to everyone that I know and stuff like that. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I agree. I feel like, I don't know, I've heard of people say this, so I'm gonna be like, some other people may also relate to the idea of like, maybe I also heard Kai say that something that inspires you, making others happy. And I feel like that's really true for some of us. I feel like a lot of times I want to be that person for someone else, and that brings me joy. That makes me feel like someone can count on me and I am helping that someone, things that like maybe I would also need support sometimes, and I know that I can offer that to someone. I feel like that's really big. So yeah.
Hello, everyone, again. I think one thing that I like to do is I like go on long walks. I like to go on like hour-long walks around my neighborhood and just like look at the cute little trees and like the little things that are in bloom or the things that have gone dormant or like try to identify things. Yeah, I think that that's like probably the most consistent thing that I do to like care for myself, but also like kind of be curious and feel cute about the world. I also like to go on runs, even though I haven't been doing that very recently. But I think just like being able to be outside and like breathe air, I feel like each time it happens, it like reminds me that it's like a beautiful thing to be alive. Like, like when you like breathe in air, it's like, oh my God, like, whoa. Like not the air in my apartment. Like this is fresh. This is good stuff. So yeah, that's like something that I think I do for myself. Rain or shine, rain or shine.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'll be the last one. Yeah, I think for me, like, yeah, I also like to move around a lot. So whenever there's sun, I try to get, out as much as I can. I think today I really wanted to take advantage of just like walking out in the sun. That's what like really gives me energy. Whenever it's like rainy, I just like want to stay inside, which, brings my mood down. And then like, yeah, I think I also like to spend time around water. It's really relaxing, especially when you like, hear the waves or like, just the running water. It just like really calms me down. And then I think in terms of like, the environment, I can't do it because I'm like here in the US, but like sometimes I'll just like look at pictures of like, back home in the Philippines, or like, other areas that are really, vast with like a lot of vegetation. And I'm reminded of like a saying that, we always say in the Philippines, or like in our organization, which is like lupa ay buhay, which means land is life. And that really, alludes to like, how our earth is like really, able to provide for our communities, and how, farmers are able to provide for our communities, how like, just acknowledging that, yeah, our earth is like very, plentiful, but, the systems in place are also just like making it so that we can't access these things. But, in a way, yeah, the earth is like still very, something that we can all have for sure, and just be, in community together.
Land is life. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like it's true. And I feel like we need to remember that. I feel like that idea of like, oh, this is air. Like I'm breathing it. Like this is good. And like taking a walk. That's true. Actually, before I came here, like I had an hour and I was like, I'm going to walk. Like I was stressed, y'all. I was so nervous. I was like, I need to walk. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, let me walk. And I walked around for like an hour. I walked around and I did the same thing. I was like, oh, like, nice dirt. Like, that's cute. Like, oh, didn't see any worms though. But anyways, yeah, I feel like that's really important. And also talking about, like, we live in Seattle, like I said, rain, and it's all like, oh, rain sucks. But it can affect our moods a lot. I know you just said that, and I know I can relate to that too. It's very common, in this place where, like, sun may affect your mood. It's normal. It's known. And I feel like it's really essential. It goes back to the idea of, like, well, why are you sad? Why are you feeling this way? I just am. Like, and that is fine. And, like, the sun isn't out. I feel that way because I do. And I feel like it's really important to, acknowledge that and give power and, to that idea of I just am and it's this way, I'm appreciate what I can. And yeah. So we don't want to, I have another idea. So aside from like, the mental health, physical health, and earth, we, we're focusing on schools too, youth change, social change. And I feel like it's, when talking about our thriving community, it's also important to talk about like what safety means to you. Now, I'm not just talking about safety, like security guard safety. I'm talking about safety overall. Like I feel safe in my room. I feel safe eating this food. I feel safe when I listen to this song or when I talk to this person. I feel like safety can be defined with a lot of things. And I know for me, it can mean many things. Like, for example, for me, safety is talking to my grandparents. I love it. Grandparents, let me tell you, grandparents are hard. Like, they are. At least I know that mine are. But I love it. It feels safe. It feels familiar. I know that's safe for me, So music is safe for me. I feel like that's a safe area. So what safety looks like for you. If it's, at schools, if it's at, your own by yourself, if it's talking to someone, I feel like it's good to focus on what feels safe. Kind of put it in your mind and hear what other people say and be like, oh, like, yeah, that I actually kind of relate to that, So what feels safe to you?
Safety to me is just isolating myself from everybody. Like, I really don't like being alone, but there are points in time where you have to disassociate from everything. So safety to myself is in my room under all my blankets with my pillows, watching my phone and chilling in my room.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. Yes. What's the question again? What does safety mean? Or like, how do you feel safe? Just around like safety relating to you as a person.
Personally, as a feminine presenting person, it's really hard to feel safe in a world where people like me aren't safe. And a place where I truly do find happiness is being in my room. I have pets that don't speak. They don't need to speak for me to feel like they know I'm there, that I take care of them, and they know that I'm safe for them. And it truly just brings me to peace, just being with my pets that I truly care about, and they can have no ill will towards me. Well, I don't know, but I hope they don't. I hope my fish is just swimming and having fun, but that is when I feel the safest.
Yeah, this idea of like being in our rooms and alone and stuff. I feel like a lot of times there's like this idea of like, oh yeah, you just want to hide in your room and be alone anytime with your phone. Like, leave it alone. Like, I deal with stuff. I need this time alone, and I relate to that a lot. I feel like it's really good to just take your time, be alone, and like separate yourself from the outside. You are a person. Take care of yourself. Take your time. I feel like that's essential and should not be shamed. You want to share?
Safety for me is sitting on my front porch at, I don't know, like 8 at night in the summer. That's it.
Period. I love it. Yeah. So like 8 at night in summer is still kind of light out, right? Yeah. When it gets like dark at like 11, 10. Yeah. Yeah, and that's like sitting in your porch, like kind of being outside. I feel like I also feel that like sometimes I just need to like open a door and step outside for a second and be like, okay, this is good. This feels good. I'm good. And yeah, thank you for sharing. Any other ideas of what safety may feel like to you?
Another form of safety to me is being with my friends who I trust. I don't like my siblings like that to hang out with them. But being with my being with my best friend is a point in time where I can be vulnerable with her, and I can trust her.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that, we just talked about like being by ourselves and all and how that's important. But yeah, I think, having people around you that you feel comfortable and safe with it's great. It's very valuable, having, because, you can feel safe by yourself, but, sometimes you're like I want someone else to share with this. I want someone to share things with me. And, finding someone that makes you're able to share with and you feel safe with, I feel like it's very important. Thank you for sharing. Well, we can, if you have any questions, ideas, I want to hear them. I've been like, tell me this, tell me that.
Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update. Are you nerdy by nature? The Crosscut Ideas Festival is back with captivating conversations to quench your curiosity. Explore issues in science, health, culture, and politics with thought leaders and innovators like Ibram X. Kendi, Audie Cornish, Eric Holder, John Quillen Hill, Andrew Yang, and more. April 29th to May 6th at the Amazon Meeting Center in downtown Seattle. It's the Crosscut Ideas Festival, where curiosity and discovery connect. Get your tickets at crosscut.com/festival.
What's going on, world? It's your boy OG Mambo.
And your guy D Money. Join us along with Pint Size Patron and ID Yourself
Here on Fresh Juice at Rainier Avenue Radio.
every Wednesday hump day from 9 to 11 Pacific.
Get exclusive interviews from your favorite artists, all the hottest music, and updates on what we got going on in the world.
That's every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio.
1, 2, get down.
What's up, big and little homies? This is Masvita Maraire, host of Seattle Sports Weekly on Rainier Avenue Radio.world, your one-stop shop for Seattle sports. We cover preps, we cover college, we cover pro, we cover it all. Huskies, Mariners, Seahawks, Garfield, South, Roosevelt, Metro, King County. This is where you want to listen to for all the sports that's happening in Seattle. Seattle Sports Weekly on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
See a bad mother.
Did you know there's an easy way to keep yourself and your loved ones healthy? COVID vaccines are safe and a proven way to keep your family out of the hospital and enjoying life. Let's show our love to those around us. Get your free COVID vaccine today. If you haven't had a COVID shot since September, you're due for a booster. At NeighborCare Health, we are here for you. For more information about COVID vaccines and all of your health needs, visit neighborcare.org/vaccines.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenue radio.world.
Yeah. Huh? I don't know what's going on. Tony's finding out.
launch our Rise for Rights campaign, where we talk about the rights of the youth to have a pro-people education. So right now we are developing a curriculum. It's called The Miseducation of the Filipinos, urging us to fight for a pro-people education, where we get to talk about the things that we just talked about earlier, where youth and students have the rights to it's the rights to have a pro-people education where they don't just learn how to read and write just for the sake of learning how to read and write, but rather learning in order to serve the interests of the majority, interests of themselves, interests of their community, where we get to have a space where we talk about our history, our culture, and our role as youth and students in our history and today. And also bringing it back to where we talk about the budget cuts, right? The Filipino-U.S. history classes are a rights for the Filipino youth. It's the right to tell their stories and also the right to fight an education system that serves them. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing.
For the Black Student Union, we are trying to make fun and safe places for BIPOC, and currently right now we are trying to work on public transportation justice right now because there is not enough of that, and we kind of need that because it's crazy out there, not enough money for a lot of people, so we kind of need that for people, all right, and we're trying to work on that currently. So that is generally it for right now. We have other projects clearly, but right now we are striving hard for the public transit stuff. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, so again, I'm Linda, also go by Lynn. I am here with Anak Bayan South Seattle. Anak Bayan, as a whole organization, is actually an overseas organization from the Philippines. And so we exist in the Philippines, but also here in the US and actually also in Europe. Well, basically anywhere there's Filipinos, we'll be there. And currently, Anak Bayan is basically a youth and student organization. I think I mentioned that already. So we basically what we call link and raise. So kind of just try and gain what are the local issues within our communities, what matters to the youth, and also connecting that to the overall struggle that's also happening in the Philippines as well. Because again, all of our struggles are connected. And we are, trying to also partner with Kabataan Alliance to also, link and raise this issue on education, education crisis, how it connects to the climate crisis, and also how the military is also contributing to that as well. So we're trying to what we call take back our education, or TIBO. Trying to link and raise again how the budget cuts are connected to the military spending that is happening, to try and fund this inter-imperialist war, and then we're also trying to raise awareness to what will be happening later on in the year. So and also raising awareness of how the current president Marcos is really just trying to is really not paying attention to the issues that the people are really trying to raise awareness about, are the issues that are really affecting our people. And so later on this year, APEC is a big huge company that is also funding also these inter-imperialist wars. And so we're really also trying to raise awareness about how that's also affecting the Philippines as well. So that's us. Sorry, just one last plug. We also encourage Filipino youth. If you know any Filipino youth, if you have any friends that are Filipino, we encourage y'all to talk to us. We also encourage other allies as well to link with us. We'd love to work with y'all.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Anyone else?
Okay, so I also wanted to thank you so much for sharing. I also wanted to let you guys know, front and centered. It's about this event. So front and centered. If you guys want to know more information, resources specifically, this is a youth-led conversation talking about mental health, safety, a lot of things that we talked about. And thank you so much for everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. It was amazing. You guys did great. But you can go on their website, Front and Center, and then you can find a bunch of resources talking about, environmental justice and all of them great, amazing things. We also have some events, and I'm gonna tell you all about them. So, taller de creación, literaria y exposición. So it's a workshop for literary and creation. I'm sorry, I'm translating as I go. It's in Spanish. And but the workshop is in Spanish, and they're gonna do some writing. So they're gonna do some poems, some short stories. The leader of this is gonna be Rita Huarcala, PhD, and participating. It's free. It's for adults and young people. April 23rd. From 1 to 4, and April 30th from 1 to 3 at the Seattle Public Library, Capitol Hill. Chico. Then we have Marcha Campesina. Okay, April 30th, there's gonna be a marchas marching, demonstration. Yeah, protest kind of, but not protest. Yeah. And then they're gonna be at Edward Park. There's gonna be. Can you share about what's gonna be Marcha Campesina?
So more information, I'll pass it to Jill about the taller literario. If you're interested, you can talk to me later.
Yeah, sorry, I have lettuce in my mouth. Hi, everyone. I'm Jill. I'm helping out with the Marcha Campesina, which is the farm workers' march up in Skagit Valley. It happens usually the first Sunday of May every year for the last 40 years, but this year we'll have it on April 30th, so it's a Sunday. And it will be really to, be in solidarity with the farm workers in Skagit and Whatcom Valley who are picking the food, tending to the tulips, fighting for their rights to, organize, and also fighting for climate justice as well. A number of them have experienced exploitation and being, exposed to the extreme temperature that comes with climate change. And so, wow. Anyways, if you are interested in going, we are trying to carpool up there. There's also a couple art builds. There's one this weekend, and I know there's also some local art builds in Seattle. So if you're interested, let me know or contact the info on the flyer. There'll be youth there also from the local high schools and colleges. So if you want to build with other youth, as well as farm worker youth, they'll also be there with their families. So come march with us.
I think that's it, but the Taller Literario, so it's a literary workshop. It's with One Equal Heart Foundation. They support indigenous communities in Chiapas doing projects on sovereignty. So if you're interested, great organization that were yesterday with us.
Thank you. So this is it. If you guys, we can talk. We can keep on talking. Bring up some ideas that popped up in your brain. I would love to. But does anyone for any new ideas? Like, hey, I thought about this. If not, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah? No? Okay. Then this is over. Yeah. But you can take a sticker with you. Thank you. thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here and adding to the conversation. I think it was really strong, really helpful. At least I know it was for me. And I hope all of you that, had your I want to walk away with this today. You walked away with that. It would be great. And remember to go outside and see the earth and take care of it, because earth deserves more than a day. We know that. And take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. And take some food home. Do that. Start here. Be like, I'm going to take some food home. Oh, and the raffles. Don't forget the raffles. Don't. Yeah. Congratulations, Vaccinated Union. You won the trivia, by the way. Yeah. Congrats. You did great, by the way. And there's raffles if you want to keep on winning, keep the streak going. And there are stickers, front and center. They're really cute. They're round stickers are so cute.
And then
there's glasses, and there's
then
pens.
seats.
There's seats. Take seats. There were seats outside on the tables, and you didn't catch those.